Welcome to another edition of the Gridiron Report. I'm Jarret Johnson, and oh, by the way, Texas Tech does have a football game this week, and it's against number 4 Oklahoma in Norman, oh, by the way. So there's been so much talk, of course, and understandably so, about the coaching change, Matt Wells being fired, Sonny Cumbie being named the interim head coach, and then, of course, the coaching search that's going on. I was there at Kirby Hocutt's press conference. I was there for Sonny Cumbie's press conference, and normally I would have had this game preview out, at least a day earlier, but there's been a lot going on. But here we are. All right. So Texas Tech, 5-3, 2-3 in the Big 12 against Oklahoma, who's of course undefeated, 8-0, 5-0 in the Big 12. Number 4 in the country. The game is set for 2:30 Central Time there in Norman. I believe the game is televised on ABC, so there'll be a lot of eyes on the game. So, hopefully the Red Raiders will respond to, I guess you call it, obviously, adversity. The head coach has been fired. But you know what's funny? A lot of times, and I really wanted to lead off this video, or at least the preview, by saying this, that, you see oftentimes in life, and of course in football, as a mirror, you see teams respond when there's a change. And look, I'm not saying that's going to happen. Texas Tech, I believe last I saw, they were 22-point underdogs, and that's probably about right there in Norman. But if they were going to respond to someone, I think Sonny Cumbie's a good option. He's a likable guy, but he still gets on them. He holds the players accountable. He's actually, I had not seen him in his previous times here at Texas Tech. So, I guess he was here the first year. I got here in the middle. My first game covering Texas Tech for RaiderPower.com at the time, which was owned by Fox Sports at the time, to talk about all the changes. How far we've come, but it was the Fox game in 2013 versus TCU that Tech won, and that was Cliff Kingsbury's first year back then in 2013. Wow, that seems like forever ago. And of course, Cumbie was on the staff then, but I wasn't there for fall camp. I wasn't there for the previous spring. I didn't get to see Sonny Cumbie in action in practices, and he's such a nice guy. I've met him, I've talked to him, of course, several times, and as has probably a lot of the people who are watching this. And he's a really nice guy. He just is. West Texan from Snyder. He's just one of the more likable guys you're going to come across in life. And but now on the practice field, which I saw in the spring, and then again in fall camp, boy, he is a yeller, a screamer, gets after those guys, holds them accountable. And I was kind of at first like, that guy who blinked several times, that meme, like, whoa, okay, I wasn't expecting that. Because he's aggressive, I'll say. Like, you don't have to worry about him getting after the players. So, but then I liked a lot of the things, his teachable moments. He would stop things and really not just scream at guys, but teach them things. So in everything I've heard, it's not just me saying this, trying to put a good face on the situation, but everything I've heard points to the players really liking and responding to Cumbie. So, we'll see. Crazier things have happened. Kansas shut out Oklahoma in the first half last week, which actually might not work in Tech's favor. That might have been the wake-up call that the Sooners needed. But, they're still Oklahoma. They're still undefeated. They're still probably on pace to go to the playoffs, Tech hasn't won in Norman. Well, I didn't look this up, so don't hold me to this. But I believe it's 2012 was the last time they won in Norman, just off the top of my head. So, it's going to be a huge test, and I'd be shocked if it's even competitive in the second half. But, I'm telling you there's a chance, because crazy things happen in these type of situations. Now, let's get down to the actual matchups. My main concern remains rush defense, though it was much better against Kansas State. Like, Tech didn't lose against Kansas State because of its run defense. But this is a different animal. Just starting with Kennedy Brooks, I'm a big fan of his. I was in high school at Mansfield. I believe he's a 2,000-yard back at Mansfield. But just a really good football player who I've just always admired his the whole package. He's a pro. Like, I know people say that a lot, but I really think he's a guy that could go in the NFL and be a bell cow kind of back. A guy you hand the ball off to, if he exists anymore, or at least give 20 touches a game. He's that good. So it's not like that's the only running back that Oklahoma has. You just go with, Oklahoma's whole offense. I feel like it's a big mismatch for Texas Tech's defense. But, if they could get some turnovers, get off to a fast start, maybe they'll make a game of it. And I think you flip to the other side of the ball. I mean, Henry Cumbie has regressed. Let's be honest. It seems like every game he's kind of taken a step back. And, look, I'm the same guy that was impressed with him in spring and fall camp. And then 3 weeks ago, I was saying he was doing a better job than Tyler Shuck at running the offense. But, man, in that Kansas State game, in the second half, there were at least 2 or 3 open plays where it was the right call. And I know Sonny Cumbie took the blame for it, and I'm glad he did that. But, I mean, it was the right call. The receiver had run the right route. The protection was good. Everything was there but the throw. And Cumbie just missed it, and the opportunities for big plays that would have made a huge difference probably in the outcome, It would have been. It just completed one of those, like 3 passes that he missed. And they were different. One was a fly, I think, was it Dalton Rigdon, who he split a double to. I mean, he was open. There was 2 guys, but they weren't close to him. I mean, he beat the coverage. It was a good call. It was the right read on Cumbie's part. A good job by Rigdon. He was open, and Cumbie just missed him. And I can't remember what the other 2 ones, but they were short to intermediate that would have been, chain-moving plays that were just there. And so I don't want to just act like it's all Cumbie's fault, but he has to be better. And Sonny Cumbie said he's going to start Cumbie. So I understand that. Maybe not wanting to throw Donovan Smith out against Oklahoma. And he sees those guys in practice every day, so he knows who has a better chance to give them a chance to win. And I believe Sonny Cumbie's going to play, who he thinks is going to help the team win the most. But you just feel like Donovan Smith would give, I know this may sound crazy, but what about Baron Morton even? I mean, the guy has skills. Now, I know you don't want his first start to be at Oklahoma. I get that. But so if you start Cumbie, why not work one of those guys in? I mean, Smith has more seasoning, obviously. But those guys are very talented. They're just, Cumbie is a veteran, but those guys are more talented than he is. It's the bottom line. They can do some things both athletically and from their arms standpoint, from a passing standpoint, that Cumbie just can't. So that's a concern. Now, I do think there are some opportunities against Oklahoma's defense, but they're going to have to hold up in pass pro on when it is obvious passing downs, and that's where I think Tech's going to get in trouble. So if they can stay ahead of the chains where Oklahoma's pass rush doesn't get after Tech, then I think Tech's going to be able to do some things. But they're going to have to be explosive, because I don't know if they're going to be able to maintain a lot of long drives against Oklahoma. So those are the matchups I see. It's just get the ball to EZ, get the ball to Sir Roderick. Don't turn the ball over. Sustain drives where you can, but get those explosives in order to put points on the board. If you get in the red zone, you got to punch it in, which is true every game. But it just seems like when you play a team of Oklahoma's caliber, especially there, those type of things just become accentuated. You really got to be sharp against them. And, hopefully they come out slow like they did against Kansas. That's what you got to hope for. But, it's good. There's so many interesting aspects of this. Just Cumbie alone, Sonny Cumbie, he's been in the box as the OC. He's going to be on the field. The whole dynamics with all the coaches and how plays are going to be called are going to be different. So there's going to be a lot going on, and it's all going to be on a national stage on ABC. So I'll tell you what. Monty Joe said it earlier in the week, perhaps best. This game got a lot more intriguing with the coaching change than it was before, because it just seemed like lambs to the slaughter, and maybe it's going to be again, but it's a lot more interesting for me and for most of us that cover the Red Raiders or follow the Red Raiders than it was before. So we'll see what happens. 2:30 p.m. Central Time there in Norman, Texas Tech taking on number 4 Oklahoma. I appreciate you watching, and until next time.